we should be live now. I feel like I say that exactly the same time every single time I start streaming. Got coffee, got music, should be good. All right. Oh, people are already here. Hello, Marty and Sir Ruck. All right. Also, just because occasionally this doesn't ever update. Let's see, test, and it works. Bye, Ricky. Okay, so what I have in front of me is the cloaker for my Underdark pack coming out the 16th. I just know it's sometime in the middle of the month. Anyway, hi guys. So this is one of the cloakers I have, and I'm just gonna get this all prepared for 3D printing because you can see there's some weird seams back here and stuff, so it's not like completely finished. All right. So I'm gonna go to Dynamesh and get this all into a singular mesh. Because if I do Shift F, oh wow, the polygroups are all the same color. That's funny. You can kind of tell that okay, so the wings, body, and tail are supposed to be different objects, but they're showing us the same color, which is very funny. There's quite a few people here actually. Hello, Bruno. All right, let's see if that actually did what it's supposed to. Perfect. So this is the before and this is the after. So what's happening here is it just retopologizing the entire mesh and making it one big old piece. Oh, Ricky's back.
Yep. Just grabbing some things.
Oh, I thought you were delivering packages. So I was like, bye.
No, I'll actually be out of here in like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. I accidentally framed this mesh by accident, so let me get rid of that. There we go. All right, so if you look at this, you can see like the detail looks, what's the word? Bad. So I'm gonna go to Dynamesh resolution, just crank it all the way to max, and hopefully it doesn't crash, and we'll deal with that. It still looks kind of bad. So usually this happens when the entire mesh is highly detailed. So there's a couple things I can try to do to troubleshoot this. I can increase the size of the mesh by going into move mode and Dynameshing. Ooh, what are you doing? That's interesting. I actually haven't had a problem like this in a long time. All right, I'm gonna fight this live. All right, let's go to my subtools. That's all merged. I can go to it unmerged as well. I think what the problem is, there's too much of a gap between the polygroup size between each one of these. So what I can do is I wanna merge these two for sure. That's my biggest problem. Not sure how it went. So this is actually the T-pose of the cloaker before I posed it. Kind of neat. Obviously there's like no detail in the wings yet. I did a lot of that after the fact. And here we are now. Is this the same model? Yes, that is the same pose, just turned. Occasionally I store multiple poses in my tools up here and I forget what's going on. All right, so I want to grab this one. Let's see. So I can do a few things. I can Boolean them all together, but I don't know if it'll let me get rid of those seams. Again, this is really interesting. Usually I only have this problem when it's like a really high detailed mesh, like the peacock griffin, for example. And then the face will be all blurry. I'll just resculpt it. But this isn't that detailed. So at ZBrush, what you doing? So Rex says, I'm liking the pose. I'm glad. They're kind of funky. They're real dramatic for what I initially planned, but they're like manta rays. So I really wanted to have that kind of motion. There's one of these poses where it almost looks like it's falling because I have 3 different variations, but I think it looks really cool. Yeah, it looks good from that angle specifically. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna save because it's been like a second since I did and I'm paranoid. Yeah, this is Cloaker 1. And I'm going to Dynamesh these individually and then try and Dynamesh them together. Something tells me that the problem is the fact that this should be in subdivision levels. Yeah, so this is the lowest resolution, this is the highest. I'm gonna delete those because I don't need them anymore. I only had them there for posing. When it's really low poly, it's a lot easier to do. Oh, Terry joined too. Hello. There's a lot of people joining in the middle of the day. I thought it'd be me, myself, and I, which is cool. But yeah, good to see y'all. I used to do polls like, oh, what's the best time to like live stream? But I know it's like completely different. Most of you guys are all over the world. So it's like, I'll just live stream when I wake up-ish. I've been awake since like 10 or 11. So it's not like I'm getting up at 2. Just letting you guys know. I actually don't really sleep that I sleep like 7.5 hours a night, but I don't go to bed until like 4, 3 in the morning. I don't know. I've always been like super night owl. Marty says it's nearly 10 p.m. here. Oh, wow. Yeah, last time you joined, you mentioned it was like 2 a.m. And I was like, wow, I feel so special that you're joining, even though it's so late where you're at. Bruna says, do you think I'm resin printing them while working on the models in terms of making it easier to support? Yeah, I do. Yeah. I'm just reading your question to make sure I didn't like misread it. I do think about it. A model like this, that's why I have the tail connected to the bottom here. These look like they're gonna need supports. They're not going to. They might round off a little bit, but that's totally fine. Yeah, so Rick mentions almost 5 p.m. here. I work first shift. Oh, nice. That could be nice, like work early in the morning, just get it done with. Can't relate. Never had a normal job. I worked all throughout college, but it wasn't like I worked at McDonald's. No, I did a lot of on-call jobs. So I was a RA. I was a residential advisor, which means I was a babysitter for college kids, and it was a lot. So I was in charge of about 70 to 80 freshman girls, and I'm real mellow, if you guys couldn't tell. So they'd get really, really hammered and show up and be like, hey, I'm sick. And I'm like, I gotta call the paramedics. And they're like, no. I'm like, it's my job. It's the kind of thing where they forget that it's like, even though I'm friendly, doesn't mean I can't do my job still. So that was most of my college. Like I'd have finals, and the day before I would usually be calling the cops, and it was a wild job. I did it for 1.5 years. Do not recommend. Oh my God, I got so sick of being, I think that's why I'm a night owl now, because I never could get a decent night's sleep. On the plus side, it made me real friendly. I'm a huge morning person. Whenever I wake up, I'm happy. Patrick M says the face is cute. Thank you. I think it kind of reminds me of like Jabba from Star Wars. I want to do like the classic with all the teeth and stuff, but like those tiny little teeth, that's not worth supporting. Okay, so I've Dynameshed this now. I'm going to do the same with the wings. Also, it's kind of a good example here. I can solo this. This is what I moved the most, right? So if I go to my lowest resolution here, that's what it looked like when I was posing it. Because since there's so few polygons, it's really easy for me to grab exactly what I want. When it's higher like this, it's so much more dense, and it's just harder to manipulate without having like bad seams and stuff. It's kind of the best way to explain it. But yeah, in case you're wondering. All right, I'm gonna delete lower and Dynamesh this as well. I'm really not sure if this is gonna work. I have never had this problem where it's not that detailed a model and Dynamesh is just killing the resolution in a bad way. Blech. Bruna says it looks like the huge fish guy from Lilo and Stitch. Oh yeah, totally. Totally does. So I always change the design to avoid like copyright issues, but also because I hate rendering things, which is like when you just copy something directly, it's really, really boring. You just keep looking at the reference and like making micro adjustments. But yeah, recently I've really been straying away from it, which is fun because I get my own like original designs. The only downside is I have no idea what to call this. It's a cloaker, which if I do Shift P, you guys can see my references here. These are like traditional cloakers here. I have a manta ray because that was a good reference for this for obvious reasons. Mine looks way different, so I'm not worried about copyright. It's not even a derivative work because it looks so different. But yeah, I don't know what to call it. Manabat, that's kind of what I was thinking, which my boyfriend thought was cheesy, and I agree, but it is a Manabat. Okay, I need to figure out which one. My tools are a mess right now. Okay, we're gonna delete this one. I don't need this. I have that saved somewhere else. No, do not do that. Okay, which one did I just do? Okay, that's my multiple piece one. This is my low mesh one. I don't want this one either. Okay, that's the merged version of this. I can see down here, 7 million points. 7 million points total. Cool, cool. All right, so I should be able to Dynamesh all this and it should not hurt me like I did last time. It should not suck. So I'm going to increase the size of the model. If you guys don't know, ZBrush works within like, it has its own dimensions and you can tell that something's bigger and it will retain more resolution. It looks like I have some ideas. See, Cave Ray or something. Cave Ray is a great idea, actually. Yeah, I would like that. Danger Tooth. Java Fluffer. Oh my god, you guys are fun. I really like Cave Ray. That makes so much sense. I don't know why I didn't think of that. but danger too if somebody's like a close second. Okay, so it ruined my detail on the face again. So I could keep messing with this. Ooh, coffee maker is turning off and being loud about it. That extra 5th beep is always like 5 too many. Anyway, instead of doing something smart about this, I'm just gonna redo the detail myself manually. Because I don't want to fight this. Oh my gosh, it's so blurry. That makes me sad. Why are you doing this to me? Here, I know what I can do. All right, this is what we're gonna do. We are going to duplicate the mesh and then project the details on after the fact, which this is what like everyone says you can do. Anyway, my only issue with it is that it doesn't work very well for small details, but in this case, I don't have any small details. It's just being dumb. Bad ZBrush. Okay, so I'm gonna remesh this one right here. I'll call this one, rename it Original. And on the plus side, everyone that's watching, you'll see something kind of cool. All right. Go to remesh, and so my UI is custom. Some of these buttons don't even exist. Like divide, no shrink, and panel loops don't exist. They're macros. So essentially, like if I do an operation with like 10 5-button clicks or whatever, I can just automate it all into one button. So in this case, my Z remesher, that is something that I made. If you go to geometry and go to Z remesher, here you go. Just show you guys where that came from. All right, so I'm gonna Z remesh this, and it's gonna get rid of all the detail and retopologize it as one piece. Or it should. We're gonna find out. Sir Ruck says, so many brushes. Yeah, I use a lot. Well, I have a lot. I really only use like 5. Like clay buildup, smooth, damp standard, move, and pinch. I don't know if that was 5, I didn't count. But yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, it's wanting to freeze, so I will not touch it. Patrick M says nerd. And if you're talking about me, but yes. Totally. Let's see. Just my whole weekend was just all I did was sculpt D&D monsters. I played D&D with my friends for like 8 hours. We only meet once a month, so we play for like a horribly long time. I think 8 hours is way too long. I'm like so over it. That's like my social quota for the month. I love people, but I don't know. I'm very easily like tired by being around people. I'm the kind of person where like my ideal night is like hanging out with people that I like and not talking. Like let's all just get a book and sit in the same room together. That's like my ideal. Yeah. I'm surprised I like live streaming so much because this is pretty social. Maybe because I don't see any of you guys. I don't know. All right. So it did finally. Took 81 seconds. So if I go to solo, you'll see what this looks like. So this is the original and this is the remesh. I'm sure you're like, why would you do that? It looks dumb. Because I can retopologize it and project it back on. Okay, let's see if I can smooth the seams though, because if I can't, that defeats the whole purpose of this. I can't, they're still separate objects. Ugh, I should know a better way to do this, but I don't. Oh my gosh, usually on live stream I look more confident. Those are rookie numbers. Yeah, some people like will play D&D for like 12 hours. You guys are monsters. Bro, social quota is real. I played Twilight Imperium and I love it, but it's awful. And I'm antisocial most of the time. This is a good group of people. And Patrick M says, yeah, no pressure on live stream. You can keep people at distance in your control. Yeah, that's true. I can just walk away, which I mean, I've done in real life too, but it's a little more frowned upon. All right, enough complaining about this. I'm just baffled by the fact that ZBrush isn't able to Dynamesh this. The reason I'm trying to do that is because it's for 3D printing and 3D printability. So the only main seam I'm worried about is between the body and the tail. So I will Dynamesh those together. And then on the cape, I can just keep on top and Boolean those. So that's how we're gonna solve this. So Rex says, I need a new D&D group to play with. Very close to learning how to DM, force my friends to learn to play. I totally feel that. All right, that's been Dynameshed. So has this. Gonna merge these together. His little squiggly body looks so weird. All right. And Dynamesh these together. And I'm curious what's gonna happen with the face detail. It must be the wings that it's, yeah, that actually looks fine. So it's the wings causing the problem. I don't know why. Whatever. All right, let's get rid of this really ugly seam finally. That's what's been bothering me. Go with my inflate brush and kind of smooth this out. But yeah, I've been looking more and more into DMing because it just sounds like so much fun. I'm that kind of person, like I love preparing for things. It's like my favorite, like my DMs. I mean, you gotta do a lot to prepare for each session. And to me, I think that'd be my very close second favorite part. I think that's the best. I'm a big planner and logistics person. Most artists can't stand like the business side of what they have to do. I love it. I think it's so much fun. I have spreadsheets for everything. Up until recently, I kept spreadsheets of my Patreon growth. So every single day, how many people deleted or added pledges, and then I plotted it, and then I do a linear regression to predict what would happen in the future. I just think this kind of stuff is fun. And no, I did not graduate with it in statistics. I graduated in engineering. All right, this is still a blurry face. I can divide that. That's a lot better. Just going through here and carving out these details a little bit. It's okay if it doesn't look super good this close because you would never 3D print something or this thing this big. I'd put the wings at probably 3 feet across. The screen in front of me is really big. All right, because when I zoom out, it looks really crisp. But zooming in, yeah, it doesn't look so nice. There we go. Make sure to really exaggerate these so these details not only show up, but when you paint them, they don't disappear. All right, have a couple more questions. All right. Surrock says, will the cloakers having clear lifts, the cylinders for aerial minis? Actually, no, I wasn't thinking about that. For the Aboleth, there will be. I'll show that one after this. But for these, now I just have the tail stuck on the base because if I can avoid using the clear cylinder ones, I do, just because I just don't like them a whole lot. And they're hard to attach to the minis depending. But it can work and look real nice. Patrick M, I think you'd be good at it. All your videos are so lighthearted. Your energy is great too. Oh, thank you. Sark, that's my only complaint about the Harpy model. It's held only by 1 foot, and I've had to add a support beam. That's interesting. Oh, yeah, you mentioned you had all kinds of weird stuff. Wow, I'm mumbling about your models being really fragile. I don't know. That's so weird. And don't get me wrong, the Harpy isn't like a rock solid model with her 1 little foot or whatever. But I drop my minis constantly, and I have hardwood floors, and they don't break. Maybe I'm just lucky. I don't know, man. Also, yeah, he's going to be a great DM. Thanks, guys. God, so cute, Grumpy. He looks disapproving. I like it. Thank you, guys. That's what I was going for. Grouchy cloaker. All right, I did cover the seam here, but you can still kind of see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Clay Buildup and add more material and then smooth it out. So this is why I always work in low poly, because see how it's taking so long to smooth this out? It's a lot easier when there's less polygons. Joshua says, oh, hi Joshua. What resin do you use? I use Anycubic Gray, and it is my best friend. I've tried other ones. I've tried Anycubic Green, Lego Gray, Anycubic White, and Anycubic Orange, and Yellow. I use a lot, actually. I like gray the most. A Fallout success, mixing the Syrah Tenacious with my Anycubic Gray. Minis are now droppable. Yeah, happy to hear that. All right, that's looking real nice. Now let's fix this transition here. So I'm gonna go with my move brush, and I'm just going to get this so it lines up, and that will be just fine. And then I'll go ahead and do a Boolean union, since when I do Dynamesh, it's causing huge problems and ruining all of my detail. I'll also do the same thing for my other cloakers, so this live stream might be a little dull doing the same thing. Definitely makes it more fun for me chatting with you guys while doing stuff like this, because it's kind of mindless. Kind of looking at this, making sure it all looks right. When I originally designed this, these folds here matched up better with these like ribs, kind of like inverted ribs that I created. Doesn't really do that now, but I think that's okay. So I do see there's possibly a small gap between this cape that I've created and his head. That is a concern, because if that cavity back there is hollow, it's gonna cause a lot of problems. So let me solo this. I'm gonna go with an inflate brush and just inflate this to be into the head, because if not, that could cause a hole in the 3D print for resin. Her FDM would probably be fine, actually. There we go. Go ahead and merge this down, and then I'm going to rotate it because that's a much better angle. This is why I designed it with the intent of. And I'm gonna push some of these spikes upwards to make them supportless. They're gonna be fragile, but they'll be supportless. Patrick M says, if I print and paint your peacock griffin like a phoenix, will you be mad? No, you do whatever you want. So Rex says, that's really smart having all the separate body parts manageable like that. Oh yeah, it's necessary. All right, so I merged these together and I should have done a Boolean mesh. I forgot, even though I was just talking about it. So I'm going to try this Dynamesh thing one more time. Because now if this doesn't work, I can just reproject and they'll be fine. If you do paint it like a phoenix, I want to see pictures. I think that'd be cool. Why are you freezing? I didn't tell you to do anything. Calm yourself, ZBrush. All right, let's see if this subset new. I don't know why it keeps Dynameshing. So if you hold control over anything in ZBrush, it will tell you more about it. I'm reading about the sub-projection part right here. So I'll have more geometry on the edge. I don't know if that helps me, but I'm gonna max it out and see if it makes this not so blurry. It never takes me this long to post-process a model. Look how blurry the face gets. Why are you being like this? All right, so if I do it like this and then click divide, where does that put me? Makes it a little bit better, but not really. Okay. We go into quick save so I can go back and do a Boolean mesh for these. I have a lot of quick save files. I should really go through and actually no, let's not do that. Really go through and delete these at some point. I used to hold on to these because I used to do written 3D modeling tutorials, but I recently stopped doing those because they weren't that popular or as helpful. All right. Back to where we were. All right, I have a solution for this finally. It took me a long time to figure it out, but I know what I'm gonna do now. All right, gonna use a handful of techniques here. So it's complaining about the remesh because they're still separate pieces. All I need to do is Dynamesh, smooth out the areas I want, and then remesh it and project. I know I was forgetting about that. I realize that probably sounds like complete nonsense if you don't do 3D modeling. I am changing the topology and then simplifying it. That's all I'm doing. Hope that was a little more manageable. All right, this is my remeshed one. This is Dynamesh, so I can go through and smooth out whatever I want. Because it shouldn't have these like harsh creases right here. And now it doesn't, which is nice. There's also a hole right here. That's the kind of stuff that I'm worried about. But if I go through and use an inflate brush and then Dynamesh, it will seal that, which is great. I'm gonna do the same thing right here. Being careful not to change the mesh too much because I do plan to reproject. All right, this looks a little odd, so I will smooth that out and then manually resculpt the details with a damn standard brush. Holding Alt to invert the brush, and then without Alt to just do the normal crease function. If you guys, anyone watching is learning 3D model, I know a few of you guys are, you have any questions, ask me. It's partly why I do this. I'm gonna go with the pinch brush because it doesn't quite match the rest of the model. It's kind of like a kink right here that I don't like. It's also very noticeable to me because that's what I just worked on. Let's see, if I was glancing at that, would that stand out to me? A little bit, actually. It's a little odd. I don't mind it though. Mary says he likes watching. I'm glad. I have a couple artists I really like watching live stream too, but I'm also really picky though because I usually watch to learn. So if they are working really slow, I get really bored. It's really easy to get good at something and then not improve because you're good enough. I really, really try to avoid that. I want to make sure I just keep getting better and faster at what I do. So far, I'm at a good pace, but this year it's probably going to slow down because I'm not as much of a beginner, or nearly as much, so. All right. Sorok says, when it comes to the texture on the wings, is there a certain workflow you prefer that, or are you simply working on matching the reference photos? I don't match the reference photos at all. I just go through, I like damn standard, changing this alpha to 62, and then that's it. That's pretty much what I do. Okay, now that I have this, I feel like this actually looks fine, but that other face is way more crisp. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm curious how this is going to remesh. I'm worried that I'm gonna project the creases that I just blurred out back onto the mesh, but I don't want. Let's see, Mari says, I watch main painters as well. This is mainly to help me with my painting. Oh, that's cool. So Rack, also what kind of tablet do you use? One where you can see the screen or screenless ones? I don't use a tablet at all. I'm using a huge desktop. Essentially, it would be the same as a display tablet. Screenless is fine, but there is a disconnect, you know, because you're not looking at your hands while you're drawing, and if you know it's going to bother you, try to bear with it, because a screen display tablet is way more expensive. We're talking like a non-display is like 10% the cost of one with a screen. All right. I decided that I'm going to resculpt the detail on the face instead of reproject, only because I have 3 of these. And I don't want to have to do this same process for all 3. And I want them to look consistent. So I'm going to go through and do a subdivide. So now I have double the amount of points. And then I'm going to just quickly clean up the face. It's not going to take much time. All right. Bruna says, I have not tried ZBrush yet. I did some things with Blender, but I'm not really good at it. Yeah, it takes a while to learn. So Rack, I struggle with that disconnect. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have a touchscreen desktop monitor then? Yes. Joshua, I have one without the screen, and it's surprising how fast I got used to it. Yeah, it really happens much more quickly than you think. I imagine the one with the screen would still be better. It is. It definitely is. No, if you guys, I use a Yogo Lenovo A940, 920. It's not a laptop. It's the giant, overly super expensive one. You don't need what I have. What I have is about $2 grand because it was super bougie and I saw it and I'm like, this is perfect. If you've heard of the Microsoft Studio, this is the Lenovo equivalent of it essentially. And I absolutely love it. I've been using it for about a month now. So it's pretty new to me. and it is so much fun. The screen is 27 inches across, so I'm sculpting on a small TV essentially. It just helps because I don't have to zoom in and out nearly as much. I mean, I still do for certain strokes and having control over my lines. As you can tell, the more I'm focusing, the more I'm like, oh, how do I talk? So Rex says you had my dream job. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm assuming you're talking to me, but I'm really grateful to do what I do. I didn't even know I wanted to do it. I never had some secret aspiration to be an artist. A lot of people here, I went to school and got my bachelor's in engineering, and they're like, oh, so you did it because you had to. No, I did it because I love math and science. And then I ended up doing this. I love this even more. I never even considered myself an artist until last year, believe it or not. I was artsy and I did things, but I didn't consider myself, I don't know, I feel like an artist sounds so, not pretentious, but like you have skill, you know? If you're in a brand like, oh, I'm an artist, then I expect you to be good, I guess. I was always a musician, which you could argue is a form of art. I'm a good pianist. So if anything, I thought I would have a career in music. If it wasn't gonna be engineering, I never thought it'd be art. Funny how things work out. This is really just a mushy, detailed model overall compared to what I usually do, but that's a-okay. When I zoom out, that looks really crisp and really sharp. So Rick says, I've always watched artists working on CGI from movies and did a lot of 3D modeling for mechanical purposes in school. Was introduced to 3D printing, but printers were 4K then. That's pretty cool. Just always having kind of an interest in it and keeping tabs. All right, I'm going to delete the lower resolution here. And I'm also gonna delete the original because I don't need it. There we go. So this one's finally done. I'm not sure how big these guys are supposed to be. Still young, so hoping to spend this year pursuing some of those dreams. Love watching success. It's inspiring. That's so weird for me to hear. Like, thank you. I appreciate it, but I'm glad I'm inspiring. And that's helpful. Hey, are you heading out?
Yep. Tiki fell in his path.
Oh my god, he's so cute. Ricky showed me a picture. I don't know if we can show that on the screen, if that show at all. It might.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got a little viewer of what you look like?
I don't. It'd be an OBS.
Yeah.
But that's my parakeet. It fell in his bath. He's blue. And now he's not blue. He's so freaking cute. It's a little cold. It's a little wintry to fall into his bath.
A little bit, so when I get back, I'll set up his lamp.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
What a dork. Fun fact for you guys. Very few things are actually true blue. There's like a fish and like a bird. Just 3 things, I think. That's it. The rest of it just appears to be blue. So that's why like my parakeet, even though he looks blue, when he gets wet, he turns like that grayish black. The more you know. You didn't ask, but now you know. Can't pre-process this. Large size. Oh, okay. Good to know. Thank you. Hi, Bird. Yeah, I call him Bird like 90% of the time. His name is Tiki. I haven't hesitated at that. I never call him Tiki. All right, so I'm pre-processing this to reduce the file size. So I'm at 6.9 million points, and I do not need to be. Yeah, he was a cutie. He's so cute. He was hatched 6 months ago. I don't know. I got him in late July. He's a menace, and he's super loud and obnoxious, and he's great. I never thought I was gonna get a bird ever, but like, I can't get a dog or a cat because I live in an apartment. I can, but like, I've always had cats growing up, and they're so much happier when they're inside outside and get to do cat things and kill things and climb things, and I'd feel so bad having a cat that was only inside. Some cats love it, but I've never had any like that. And same with the dog. I don't have a backyard or anything, so I'm gonna wait until I get something that they're awesome and they have a space. This is still computing. Oh, this is a bit dull. I might do this processing stuff in my own time and do some more sculpting now, because 1, this is boring, and 2, it's a boring live stream for you and me both. Murray says 3 snakes, 2 geckos, and a dog. That's awesome. I had a snake. I had a corn snake. She was just a baby. I named her Estelle. She was a pink corn snake. And she got out. I don't know how. I had a solid glass tank with a really heavy lid. There was a hole on it for where you could put a heater that wasn't any thicker than my pen. And she was like twice the thickness of it. That's the only place she could have possibly have gotten out. And I guess she did. But like her skull, her bones, there's no way it could have squished through there. I don't know what happened, but I was super bummed out. So my snake ran away. It's like a terrible pet owner. I'm a good pet owner, I promise. I was so bummed out. All right, here we go. This has pre-processed. I might as well decimate this now, but I'm gonna work something else after this. 250,000 points, that sounds fine. Joshua says, in a fairly recent D&D session, my players make good use of a dead cloaker to roll the party member who interacts with illusions as though they're real, though, an illusionary wall. That's really cool. That's awesome. Just waiting for this to process. It's being really slow. I've noticed my desktop has like an issue sometimes when I'm live streaming as well. Oh my goodness. I'm just trying to rub something up here and it's being dumb. Not even touching the touchscreen part. What are you doing? Go back. There we go. I can read the chat too. If you guys have a preference, let's see. I have a little whiteboard where I write everything that I'm making for the month. There it is. I'm gonna roll over there and grab it. Woo! All right. Aboleth, Cloaker, Roper, Deep Gnome, Cave Entrance, and Stalagmites. Stalagmites are done. One cave entrance is done. The Ropers are done, but they need post-process and it's boring, so I don't want to do that. Aboleth is done. So yeah, Roper, Deep Gnome, or Cave Entrance. If you guys have a preference what you want to see, let me know. Because I don't care. Marty says, I have a rescue corn snake. It's found in my cousin's neighbor's house in her bathroom. She has anxiety going to the bathroom now. Poor thing. Corn snakes are harmless though, so you should tell her that because, I mean, they can bite, but they don't usually. My goodness, this is taking forever. I'm gonna angrily sip my coffee at it. There we go. Yay! Finally worked. So what I did was I just reduced the amount of polygons. So this is the after. Here's the wireframe on. Here's the before. Here's the after. It looks way different because all these little lines you see, it's so dense before that it appears to be black or purple, but it's not. All right, cool. I'm gonna save this and call it good because I don't want to keep working on this because it's boring. All right, so Rex says, I'd be interested in seeing how you sculpt terrain. I'll do a cave entrance then. Also, are you going to announce today's commission win at the end of the stream? Oh, I totally forgot I'm supposed to do that today. Probably shouldn't say that. Sure. Yeah, I will do that. Mari says she doesn't believe us. She called the police saying she had a viper in her bathroom. Like, I shouldn't laugh. She was genuinely afraid, but that's super funny. Okay, oops. All right, since this is done, I'm now gonna open up my cave entrance and I'll show you guys how I do it. God, that is super funny. All right, so this is how I do it. This is the one that I've already showed you guys what I have. So I'm gonna drop that. And now I have this folder called building blocks. So here we go. These are all the pieces. Also, this is a really horrible yellow color. There we go. These are all the pieces I used to build my cave entrance. So the way that I made these is with a surface modifier, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna do a little quick tutorial for you guys on that because it's really cool. I had to sculpt the shape and still sculpt pretty much all of it, but I'll grab this one so it's easier to see. You can fast track things using a surface modifier. So your tool palette and then surface. Go ahead and click on noise. It actually looks pretty cool. And then this actually isn't working the way it should because I've already done it once. I might keep that. That looks really nice. But essentially that's what's happening. I can edit the way that this is gonna be affected. I'm gonna go ahead and apply that to mesh. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it does it to all of them right now. We go to noise. I might be able to go to edit and mess with that. Yeah, so here I am in edit. Let me go ahead and zoom in. And then you can change the scale of how these are affected. and the strength of them, all kinds of stuff, and to get exactly what you want. So what I did was I put on an erosion surface modifier and then rotated it 180 degrees. So that way it's horizontal. So actually now I rotate 90 degrees. That way it's horizontal because that's how stalagmites build up. But yeah, the more you know. Now it looks like these are barely textured, but they're actually super deep grooves. I'll show up well in the 3D print. But yeah, that's how I built my cave entrance. So I will do cave entrance 2 and I'll just build it. Also, it looks like my music is gone. So let's see. Video pause. Don't pause. I'm still here. You're like 5 minutes in. Yeah, I just found some general whatever's not copyright. It's so weird to me I can't listen to my own music on my live stream, but it's cool. I don't mind lo-fi. Let's go back to this one. All right. Stark says, I like it. It makes it look older. Yeah, it does. It's cool. But I already have my stalagmites in a different folder, so I'll deal with that later. This one was super weird, like this stacked cakes sort of thing. So yeah, this is actually what patrons will be getting, and then everyone else in a month. These are my stalagmites. So I have a small, medium, and large cluster, and they are proportioned accordingly in those files. As of now, they're the same size because this is building block reference. And then this I didn't plan on making, but it's pretty much a stalagmite, I think. I don't know what that is, but I've seen them in caves and they're cool, so they'll be available too. Stark says, I thought I was hearing lo-fi hip-hop. Love it for studying. Yeah, me too. It's like the only part I liked about school. All right. That's a whole other topic. In case you guys could tell, I hated school. I thought it was the absolute worst. But I was also a super good student. I just hated it. There was this really snobbish, prestigious scholarship, which I'm very grateful for, to say as I roll my eyes. I am, though. So my school is all paid for, except 50 people a year. And I got in, I was super excited. It's why I went to college, honestly. But yeah, there's just so much like politics that goes along with it, and it's nonsense. And I had so many extra classes I had to take. I took Latin because that was a class I needed to take. Would have never taken Latin. And yes, it was as bad as you think it was. It was cool, but with all the other classes I was trying to do, it was a legitimate nightmare. So yeah. Let's see, Mari says petrified coral maybe? Yeah. That works for this too. All right, so this is my first cave entrance, and for my second one, I'm just going to modify it because it doesn't need to look entirely different. I give like 3 cloakers and 2 cave entrances, so there is some variation at least. I do like this cave entrance so much that I'm having a hard time seeing how I would like to modify it. I'm thinking I might do more of a rounded archway. So I'll do a bend arc deformer. It's important to me that it's supportless though, because I won't print terrain unless it's supportless. I love terrain, it's very cool, but I don't actually print it otherwise. I don't go through the trouble. Gonna make this one bigger. So if you notice, I have perspective turned off. So that's why the bottoms are perfectly flat. So now they're rounded, now they're flat. I have it turned off just so I can make sure that everything's on the same level. All right, thinking of adding any luminescent mushrooms or crystals. I didn't think of it, but now that you brought it up, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I might. That'd be neat. The first cave entrance, I'm not gonna change because it's done. But for this one, I might. That'd be cool. I'll delete this piece because it doesn't really blend in with what I'm trying to do now. Yeah, stretch this one up to meet the other. Just doing a variant of the first cave entrance. This one's probably gonna be a bit larger, is kind of what I'm going for. Zabala's tools feel like absolute cheat codes, so fluid, right? You just make one and then I have building blocks, even that's what I've even called it, and just go nuts. So I clicked on duplicate, so now I can grab these again. Move this around. That's why I do a Learn to 3D Model course that's the $10 a month, because I feel like people knew how easy and accessible 3D modeling could be, that more people would do it. Because it's really, really fun. So I want as many people to do it as possible. Gotta solo these, I got a move brush, and I'm just gonna kind of click and drag on them a little bit. just because they're looking a little too identical, because they are. Can you hear my bird yelling in the background? He is in a different room and he wants to hang out. He usually runs on my keyboard when I live stream. But occasionally he's very loud, and with the mic as good as what I have, that would be like deafening to you guys. So he gets to hang out in the room for now. I'll bring him out after the live stream. Also, I'm not gonna announce the 550 winners actually. I thought I was going to because I haven't picked them yet. So I have to like put everything into a spreadsheet and then get a random number generator, and it's people's first and last names, and I don't know. I feel like that's information I shouldn't share. All right. So I'm kind of doing more stalagmites on one side and then whatever these things are on the other. I think that's cool. Sorok says, yeah, I've only used Autodesk before. Very flat. Yeah. So I'm grabbing just one of these so I can add a little more variation, but with control, since there's only one I have to worry about. I don't mind keeping it a bit lower because I can just trim the bottom later. I'm gonna keep duplicating this and moving them around. So I'm pretty much making my own little stalagmite cluster right now. So now I'm gonna grab these, I'm gonna merge them all down. Okay, so ZBrush, I moved it over by accident, so I can't grab my sidebar. Come on. Update. There you go. All right. Going to merge. There we go. And then grabbing my trim rectangle brush, I can hold Control and Shift, and there we go. Bam. Little cluster. It says, what do you lose from ZBrush Core from here? I think I can drop $700 anytime soon. So I think it can't, but yeah, but 150 is doable. Yeah, so you lose the Z modeler brush, which I never use. You can't create your own brushes. I don't think you can edit alphas. You can't import brushes from 2020. Anything that's made in ZBrush 2020, you can't open in ZBrush Core. So my files you wouldn't be able to open, which is totally fine. Hey, Ricky's back. You brought snacks.
I did bring snacks.
Snacks. Let's see. I can move my chat around so I can actually read what you guys are saying because I had to move ZBrush. There we go. Yay.
Which one do you want?
Fruit punch.
All right.
Then Marty says, what's the spikes that go down over again? You can make it look like they're starting to form. I don't print terrain though, as I don't play tabletop. The spikes that go down again? Like these ones? Like, I point. These are stalagmites, and then to hang from the ceiling, they're stalactites. Ooh, yay. In my fancy wine glass. Fun fact, I don't drink. I hate drinking. There's no like religious reason or moral reason. I just don't like alcohol. But I have this really fancy wine glass I drink juice out of like an adult. Thank you.
There you are.
I'm such an adult.
Yeah, no.
I know, I'm gonna get like flagged for like, I don't know. Is that an issue, like drinking alcohol? It's not alcohol, it's literally fruit juice.
It's Arizona.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can call wine fruit juice, I guess. Rotten fruit juice, whatever.
Whatever suits your fancy.
Yep, Joshua said stalactites for ceiling, stalagmites for ground. Oh yeah, C for ceiling, G for ground. That is super helpful. I don't know if I said it backwards. But yes, that's what I meant to say if I didn't say it right. They approve of my wine glass.
Oh, good. Stalactites you have to hold on tight, otherwise they fall from the top. And the stalagmites might touch the top.
Oh yeah, that works too. I like this one better. It's stalactites because it has a C for ceiling and then stalagmites, G for ground. It works better. But I like yours too.
Mine tells a story, so.
Yours does tell a story. And then Rich says, how much would your classes apply to Sculptress? Little to not at all, because Sculptress is just like 5 or 6 brushes, and you can't organize your subtools. But the concepts are still the same. Whenever I model, I start from as low detail as possible and work up to more and more, which I know sounds obvious, but there's more techniques to go with it, with the process, which you could totally apply to Sculptress. But it'd be a lot harder. It might be more discouraging. But if you have a really positive attitude, heck yeah, I'd recommend that. I'm impatient. I need to see results immediately. If not, I'm just like, oh cool, this sucks. I hate sucking. Something that's like a fun reminder. Learning isn't fun. My classes are therefore not fun. I'm fun, but like it's gonna be a painful experience to learn something new. It's just part of how it is. But on the plus side, that's why I have a little community in the Discord, and you can talk to others and complain and suffer with them, and eventually make something cool. I hope that was helpful and honest, but not too discouraging. Bridge says thanks. You're welcome. I'm gonna taper this one because I feel like these all look the same because they are, but I don't want to sculpt new ones because I didn't like sculpting this the first time. It looks like rotten cake. I don't know, that's what I was thinking when I made it. I'm gonna solo this. Where is my little gear icon? That's interesting. That's a new problem in ZBrush I've never had before. There should be a little gear right here so I can move out of this deformer. There it is. Yeah, so just being glitchy because it's ZBrush. There it is. I'm just blind. I complain about ZBrush constantly. It is a fantastic program. It just has a lot of quirks like any program does. So don't take my complaints as like, oh, there's something better out there. There's not for organic sculpting. This is it. It's the best. Just putting that out there. This is looking pretty neat and looks way different than my other cave entrance, which is good. That's the point. All right, I'm gonna hide my building blocks for a second and then turn perspective back on. So this is just kind of a bigger version of my other cave entrance. I think this needs to be duplicated and moved around a little bit. Even if it's pretty similar like this. Here, let me go ahead and mirror that so it doesn't look like it's the exact same piece, even though it is. There we go. I think this looks really cool. I like it a lot. When I did my Learn 3D Model tier, I took a survey and about 30% of them said they wanted this professionally. So if any of you guys are watching, like Astoraki mentioned, wanting to do this professionally at some point, just remember that if you're gonna work as an artist, you should be your own biggest fan. If you don't like your work, you can't really expect anyone else to. It's kind of a really common thing for artists to like hate on their own work and be very self-deprecating, also known as like fishing for compliments. Not only is that super annoying, but again, it's like if you don't even like your own work, why should anyone else? Just kind of like a note. I know I say it sassy because I say everything sassy. I can't help it. Very sarcastic. But I do mean this genuinely. If you love your own work, the rest will come. I feel like this sounds like a life coach stream. I'm not. I'm just filling that in right there because I don't want this to be separate. All right, I think it looks really cool, and that should be supportless. Except for that piece. Not sure about that one. Zorak says, I know earlier you said you were a meh 2D artist. I feel like I've always loved my 3D more. Yeah. Yeah, definitely meh. Like, if you were to look at stuff I've done, you'd be like, oh, that's fantastic. That's what most people say. But the amount of hours I've put into like truly trying to learn 2D and color theory and just general shapes and forms, it's a lot of time. And I don't have a lot to show for it, which is okay. It just didn't come to me nearly as naturally. Like, not even close. All right, that looks better. Still worried about this piece because that is not supportless. Would it be good to work on my 2D work while I wait for my tablet? Yes. I would recommend just basic forms like be able to draw cubes, pyramids, spheres accurately like that. Understand what they look like from different perspectives as well and how they fit together. For example, a lot of people, the issue when they start learning 3D is they will model something from one side and not change it. A very good example of this is modeling a human face and modeling lips. Because from the front, we know what they look like. And then from the side, we also know what they look like. But it's like that 3/4 where the fat pockets lie in your lips, which is a lot more intricate and complicated than you think. I have a problem with these fat pockets specifically, so our cheeks. They're very tricky, but that's where a lot of our face shape is. So just the more you know. I have a huge problem with arms as well. Oh my God, our arms are so complicated. I'm not gonna start on that, but arms are complicated. I'm gonna do some anatomy lessons later on. I'm just waiting for the 3D modeling community I have for my $10 tier to mature a little bit more and get a little bit better before I just bombard them with like really technical knowledge about anatomy, because that's not fun for anyone. All right, I have a bunch of different objects here. I am going to merge visible, and then I will handle this. All right, here we go. Now watch, I swear. I'm going to use Dynamesh to merge this together, and it's going to keep every small detail like it normally does. I don't know what was going on with that cloaker, and I feel like I should know because I've been doing this for over a year, but I don't know. It makes me mad. Well, I have to wait for this to mesh. If you guys have questions, let me know. If anyone new join, this isn't wine, this is fruit juice. Literally. I love Arizona's. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's talk about this. So this is called shattering. This happens when you Dynamesh something at a high resolution that has a hole in the mesh, and then it will shatter your mesh. Same with this. So that actually looks really cool. But it's a huge pain and it's super annoying. And the way to fix it is, one, to find where the hole is in your mesh, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do because it looks completely solid. When I say a hole in the mesh, I mean like a literal hole in the mesh. Or I can go through here and just reduce resolution. So it was 4,000, let's try 2,200 and see what it does. Yeah, whoa, what happened? Yeah, ZBrush happened. So annoyed. ZBrush is being a monster to me right now, I don't know why. So this was the before and after. Is this Dynameshed? No, it's not. Why aren't you Dynameshing? Dynamesh, I told you to Dynamesh. Thinking about it. If it shatters again, I'll just keep lowering the resolution until it doesn't do that. It did it again. Neat. Let's go to 1,000. But notice how it's Dynameshing it, even though it's shattering some parts, it's not losing resolution on the rest of it. And this is way more detailed than the cloaker. Again, I don't know what was happening with that. And I'm very butthurt about it, obviously, because why? All right, it's still doing it. So let me drop it down to 128 and just see what happens. I don't know what the deal is with this. There we go. So this is super low resolution, and as you can tell, but it did it just fine without shattering. So let's put in a number. Let's put in 500, and we're gonna slowly work up. And we'll get the most resolution that I can without shattering. And that looks pretty good. So I don't know if it Dynameshed or not. I don't trust it. I'm gonna click on it again. So I think it did. There we go. This is the before, this is the after. So you can see that it is more blurred, but it looks okay overall. I think I can do a bit better. So let's try 800 since we know 1,000 doesn't work. Wow, it's being such a butt. It knows when I'm live streaming. And it's like, oh, these simple things you do all the time, we're not doing it. We're not doing any of it. That's fine. I'll win. It'll take a while, but I will. I guess that's the best resolution I'm gonna get. Sorek says, all I need to make some dinner. I'll be listening. Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for joining, guys. This is fun. Well, actually, this is not fun. This is stupid, and Dynamesh needs to work. But yeah, this is fun. So it looks like this is a new... it just, like, glitched out and deleted a section. Which, honestly... Why? I'm just baffled why this is happening. Since this is working extraordinarily poorly, I'm going to take a different approach. Since it did not want to merge all of these pieces into one and Dynamesh it nicely, I will group them. So these are side by side, so I will merge these together. Merge down, there we are. Well, I mean, I'm glad I did this because this is a little weirdly far away. I'm gonna just stick that inside of the other one. That looks much better. Gonna merge these down as well. So I'm just going to break this into two different sections, essentially, with this being one side needing to be Dynameshed as well as the other. And again, I'm doing this so that, for 3D printing purposes. Otherwise, when there's overlapping meshes like this, it will print that intersection solid usually, which is fine for resin, but for FDM it makes a huge problem. And even though most people know my stuff is better for resin and use resin, I still like to show love for my FDM people. So here's a good example. Before I had 1.4 million points, and now that I've Dynameshed as a high resolution, it is now at 4.5 million points, and every detail has been retained. This is how Dynamesh normally works. So again, here is the before, and here is the after. You can see it's much more dense, which is fine. And usually Dynamesh does a great job. I don't know what the problem was earlier. It was just being a butt. I feel like the more I talk in a live stream, the more British I start sounding. I don't know why. I've had people ask me before, like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, California? I am not foreign. Well, I guess where you're at. If you're in Europe, then I am foreign. Mm. Okay. There is, oh, okay, that Dynamesh with that. That's fine. Marty says you're channeling me. I'm from the UK. Definitely what's happening. I've always heard, like, it's easier for people that are from the UK or Europe or British to mock an American accent, but when Americans try to sound British, it's never quite right. Alright, so I did the same nonsense because it hates me. Gonna angrily sip some fruit juice. Meh. This is the before, this is the after. There's a small change, very small change in detail, but it still looks excellent overall, which makes me very happy. This has been a battle, but I'm winning. This is taking like 5 times as long as it usually does. Whatever, some work days are like this. At least I'm live streaming. Otherwise, I think I'd be a lot grouchier about this and swearing. But I don't swear on my live streams at all. I don't know why. I don't swear like a sailor, like otherwise, but I do regularly and casually. I don't know. All right, here we go. This is all Dynameshed together. It doesn't look like crap. Excellent. I'm now going to trim the bottom. And I now have a second cave entrance after much struggling and complaining. There we go. I love it. I think it looks fantastic. Heck yeah. Very proud of this. That looks really nice. I'm just admiring it for a second. If I want to do a quick and nice render, I can hold Shift R and it will put some shadows on this. That's an okay render. Let's decrease the shadow intensity and the gamma and the angle. Yeah, it's good. M says some sailors don't swear too often. Don't stereotype us. Oh, are you a sailor? That's cool. Yeah, I don't know where that saying came from, actually. I just know it's like swearing like a sailor, so I use that. But you're right. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. All right, so yeah, Shift R, and that's a better render, and that's the kind of little preview here. Yay, I did something this live stream from scratch, kind of building blocks. More like, that makes me very happy to get something done, though. I'm gonna grab my little whiteboard and cross it off, because that's what I live for, I swear. I just grabbed the pen on the mark side. Good job. Okay, cloakers are done. Aboleth is done. I didn't put a little base on it yet. That's fine. Okay. Sweet. So it's a lot of, I'll have a day of just having to post-process all of these. But now what's left is doing the roper. I have it all blocked out, but I need to detail the tentacles. And I put that off to the end because it's boring. Patrick M says, we earned it. I'm an anomaly. Go you. Not swearing all the time. I don't know. Swearing's never really bothered me that much. I grew up in a pretty relaxed household. Swearing wasn't really an issue. So this is my roper. Isn't he cute? Oh my goodness. Okay. So you're still doing this thing where it's ruining my pivot point. So usually when you touch on a model and move around, it will rotate around the model, but it's not doing that because it hates me. If you right click on your mouse, I think that's not right click. Oh, it's not doing it. Usually if you left or right click, depending, it will set your pivot point and it will do a better job. I can unify it, but then it just disappears it off into space. I've tried unifying all of them, but it doesn't always work. So Rex says, I have not had any roper encounters yet. That thing is freaky. Yes, I have had a roper encounter and I almost died. I was very sad because it was my first campaign and character. If you guys didn't know, I've never played D&D until last year. I actually was working as a professional full-time artist for D&D models before I even played. I just really liked it. I've loved creature design, but I didn't know enough people, so I didn't have enough friends to actually play. But now I do. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to fix this pivot point issue because that's going to drive me insane. I'm going to merge the eyeball and the teeth together just because it's fine if they're the same object. I'm actually going to merge all of this together because it's something called polygroup. So if I hold Shift and F, you will see that the teeth are red and the eye is blue. So that means ZBrush recognizes they're different objects. So even though I've merged them, I can still split them or interact with them differently. Marty says, remove the tentacles and it could be a stalagmite mimic. You're totally right. I'm so gonna do that. That's the make a little bonus release just because why not? That is such a good idea. Go you. Go you. Let me write that down. Because I will forget. Okay. It's on my whiteboard. It's official. Woo. Yay. That I didn't think of that. That's exactly how I made this. That's pretty much what they are. All right. Gonna merge this down. And then for the tentacles, I'll deal with this in a second. I just merge them all down for now. Hopefully I don't regret that. And then I'm gonna unify both of these because I really want to have a better pivot point. It did okay. There we go. See, now it rotates normally. And then the arms are obviously too small, but I think if I just, yeah, it doesn't line up. That's okay. I have little notches where they're supposed to fit, and it looks like I'm able to put that back together not too bad. Plus, I mean, the arms are barely blocked out anyway, so they're gonna change. All right. And they're all considered different polygroups, so what I can do is I can go to mask by polygroup, turn that to 100, and then now I can interact with specific tentacles one at a time by going to split mask points, making sure I delete subdivision levels first. I'm saying a lot of nonsense because this is a live stream, not a classroom, but if you have questions, you can still ask. But I'm not going to explain unless I'm asked. Just letting you guys know. I don't want this one. That was a mistake. I'm gonna just solo this. There we go. And now I'm just splitting these into pieces. And again, this isn't like my normal workflow. My pivot point got all screwed up for who knows why. And that was really quick to fix. All right. Austin says, have you encountered the flying version of this, Dark Mantle? No, I have not. I haven't encountered a lot. I've really only fought like bugbears, goblins, a few hags, the roper. What else I encountered? Almost a manicore yesterday, which I was very excited about because I have a model for that, but we didn't, which is okay. Which I mean, I guess is better because we probably would have died. I like the way the tentacles are proportioned. They don't make a ton of sense. Like this part is really thick. Usually tentacles get thinner as they get to the ends, so I will work on that a little bit. That first tentacle actually has a really good shape to it. It's not like the most 3D printer friendly, but it's also not 3D printer friendly. All I would do with this is I would put one support right here. That's it. Yeah, and then it'd be fine. If you guys are part by 550 tier for pre-sport STLs, everyone knew that joints is the same thing. They complain about how there's islands that are like 0.01 millimeter thick and that there is not enough supports. Trust me, just print them. I've printed them hundreds of times at this point and they work. What I'm trying to say is I'm the queen of like minimal supports and everyone's always like very suspicious. Like it's not going to work. And I'm like, it works, I promise. All right. Not saying it's not fair to have concerns, honestly. If you've been praying for a long time, it's good to have a sense of what's going to succeed and what's not going to succeed. And then Sir Rex says resin printing has been a game changer. Oh, totally, 100%. All right. Marty, that's me. I oversupport. I like that you own it though. Like, yep, that's me. Which honestly, I have a friend. I don't know if he's watching, but if Walker is watching, he oversupports his stuff too. Not only is he one of my best friends, he's also a patron, has access to the files. He doesn't have to. He pays because he's just like, nope, that's a service that I'm gonna pay for. Anyway, and he supports his own models anyway because he wants to learn how to do it. And I'm like, you're terrible at it. I love you. You're a great person. But like, just use the pre-supported files and then you can work on it on the side. Now, he's a super smart guy. He's just a goob and really stubborn. I'll know if he's watching because he'll send me a sassy text. He is also my DM for one of my campaigns, so I should probably be nicer. All right, so we have a tentacle and I could, let's see, do I have a reference picture? No. It's a tentacle, but it doesn't have like suction cups. I'm going to texture this in easily as possible. So what I normally do is I go to Damn Standard, I grab some sort of alpha that will do it for me. I mean, not really. You have to have a sense of where to put stuff first. And then I can do stuff like this where it's like, oh, cool, swirls. I could do this by hand by going to Damn Standard with a normal alpha and then sculpting it out like this. But why? If you can automate things, automate things. Okay. I think the swirls look like ice cream, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to see if I can do a surface modifier just because, I don't know, I've been playing with them recently and they're really cool. So if I go to noise and then here we go, that's my tentacle. This is a preview, so it won't look exactly like this. Here we go. And let's just have fun with it. Here are all of my options. Checkerboard probably wouldn't be the best one for this. Dense might be. Oh, snakeskin. I've never used that. I just sculpted by hand because I'm a fool. Voronoi would be really cool, but that wouldn't make sense for this. I'm just curious what dense looks like. I've only ever used Voronoi, and I unplugged this by accident because I'm fidgeting with my own mic. Voronoi and something else. There we go. Fixed. Yeah, I'll try that. I'm sorry if that was really loud on your guys' part. I will stop fidgeting with this. Okay. I always forget how to do this. I know I need to increase the strength, otherwise it doesn't show up. There we go. Strength makes it look bad, but all I have to do is just change the scale. Yeah, that looks really cool. It looks like really rocky and gross. Heck yeah. That looks so cool. Gonna reduce the scale a little bit and then reduce the strength. I can also go on the inside, so make it dent into it, which makes it look kind of rotten. I kind of like that too. If you guys have a preference, let me know, because I'm open. So that's positive, and this is a negative value. Kind of lean towards the positive value, because it looks like growths and tumor-y, I guess. Where is my music? Video pause, continue watching? Yes. That's the exact same thing I did last time. I don't know why it pauses now. Okay, so now let's mess with the scaling and stuff. I like how that looks, but I might want a different angle. I think that looks better. I want to wrap with the tentacle. But see how cool this is? Because it's so much faster than detailing this by hand. All right. Marty says tumorous. Yes. All right. I think that looks nice. I'll say okay. That's so gross. I love it. Wow. And then apply to mesh. Why did it do that? Now it looks super skinny and not 3D printable because it hates me. That was the before, that's the after. What the what? Okay, whatever. We are going to, I'm going to complain, and then I'm going to, I can inflate it, but then it looks, this is so dumb. I can increase the size so that it fits back in its pocket, but now it's like way larger than I intended for it to be. ZBrush, why? Okay. Looks thin and diseased now. Yeah, it sure does. Which, I mean, like, I like, but here, what's smooth normals? The S-norm slider will smooth normals of the mesh before applying to the mesh. This will help reduce overlap in polygons. Are you my problem? Apply to mesh. No, you are not my problem. Do I need more of you? No. Why are you doing this? Okay. I want to say, I don't know, actually. I was going to say it's because if I had my strength negative, maybe that would make sense. Because if it was eating into the mesh, like right here, you can see that's hollowing out on itself. So that would obviously be a problem. What is rel for? It doesn't say. Well, I'm going to click off of it. Here, I'm going to detail just a little bit, and if it's not strong enough, I can use morph targets to bulk that up. Okay, it thinned it a little bit. I'm going to divide it. Divide, no shrink. So now, instead of 320,000 points, it's 1.2 million. I don't know if that will help it. It didn't. Oh my lord. Why? Austin says rel is probably relative. I was thinking the same thing, but relative to what? That's cool. I mean, that's not what I want it to look like, but I still think it's cool. I think that looks nice. That looks terrible. And what is 3D? It just keeps it 3D, I guess. I can turn 3D off? No, I can't. Then why is it a button? A quick noise plug and now it ruined it. It looks... Ah! Okay, we're gonna cancel and open it again. Okay. At this point, I could just textured it myself, but it would have looked less cool. I will give it that. This is looking really cool. I like how this one looks. relative to model size. It didn't seem to be doing much when you clicked it though. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, that's a good guess. Oh my goodness, now it's even smaller. Okay, that means I can learn from this. So now it's way freaking smaller. So something about what I just changed made it way worse. What was it? Was it plugin scale? I really wish I paid attention to what I just did. I just clicked on stuff without. Oh goodness. Interesting. I want to say it's plugin scale what's causing the issue. So what if I put the plugin scale to 0? Oh, duh. That wasn't smart at all, because now it doesn't do anything. I was thinking 0 was going to be in the middle. It's not. So this goes from 500 to 0, so logically, why isn't 250 in the center then? Whatever. All right, we're going to do less than 1. We'll do a test. We'll do 0.2. Click OK, apply to mesh. Only made it a tiny bit smaller. Marty P, it's not liking that. Yeah, it's not, it's being bleh. All right, 0.2 was interesting. Let's see what 0.1 does. It shrunk a little bit as well. Okay, so the bigger the plugin scale, the larger that affects the mesh. What about point? We'll just do 1. And yeah, so it shrunk it a lot. So it starts to cave in on itself. So 0.4, if I'm right, shouldn't shrink as much. I was right. Okay. Apply to mesh. That barely shrinks. There we go. I win. But I don't really like how it looks. So there's that. Can I reset scale? I can definitely mess with this to get closer to what I want. That's cool. Wow, that's really cool. I like that. I want a little bit. This kind of adds a twist to it. Let's see what this does. Great, that actually looks good. Mario 3P, can you not increase the size first so it shrinks to the original size? I'm almost mad you suggested that because it, like, now that you've said it, it's so obvious as a good solution. But I won't be mad. I'll be appreciative. Yes, I could have totally done that. Salty. That's a fantastic solution. I was just stuck in a rut. But I also have something that I like now, so I'm not going to do that. I'm worried this is a little too scratchy. I just don't want it to... I'm just worried about it being too dirty of a mesh. That makes sense. Speaking of, I'm going to undo to where it's not over 1,000,000 points because that's very unnecessary. And I'm going to do Marty's trick. All right, we're at 320,000 points again. And then we're going to do this thing that seems really obvious now. All right, let's do it by percentage. That way I can do the rest of them the same. We'll do a 15% increase. Isn't that cool? When I move it, you can see how the noise modifier affects it. Oh, that's so freaking cool. I feel like if someone is watching, doesn't know ZBrush, would probably think I'm like a pro. I'm not. I'm very much so still learning. Okay. So if I apply to mesh, let's see what it does. So yeah, it thins out still, but I mean, it's more on my terms. If I inflate it a bunch. That's so cool. What a good solution. My goodness. Dramatic sigh. I'm thankful though. I mean, what? That was my idea all along. All right, let's see if it keeps a noise modifier between them, because that would be extremely helpful, but also very unlikely. Yeah, I have to do it by scratch every single time. That seems dumb. There's gotta be some way for me to, like, automate that. Whatever. I will go to this one again, look at edit, and look at my settings. I'm going to write them down. Noise scale 512? Seriously? Oh, it's plugin scale that was changing. I was gonna say, like, I thought that was the problem. Here, let me actually grab all of them. There we go. And I picked... Oh, cool. An unrecoverable error has been encountered. Oh, I'm gonna start swearing, but I'm not. And I picked dense. Dense. Well, I'm glad I wrote it down. ZBrush, you son of a bitch. Cool. Let's do it again. It's like, come join me for a live stream. It's like, come watch me for 2 hours while I swear quietly at ZBrush. All right, what the hell was I working on? Roper. Whatever, I didn't get a whole lot done anyway. I learned a lot. There, I can now look at that and reference what it's supposed to be. Supposed to be. Where is this accent coming from? I don't have an accent. I mean, I do, but you know what I mean. Okay, so we're just back to the beginning, which honestly, I'm sure I have Lightbox files, but that's fine. I don't even care. And then the pivot point doesn't matter either, since I've decided I'm not going to sculpt these anymore. Oh my goodness, ZBrush. Mood. I talk about like it's a person. Probably sound crazy. It's fine. All right. Going to inflate a little bit since I know it's going to be shrinking. And then we're going to increase the size by 10% because that actually looks fine. I'm going to Dynamesh these. That looks fine. And then now let's do our source modifier, but this will be way faster now that I've messed around with it and learned a thing or two. Click on noise, it brings this up. Definitely need to zoom this in, otherwise I can't see it. There we go. This is max. Oh wait, I need to pick one first. Noise plugin. Not checkerboard, dense. Nope, dense. Okay, awesome. Noise scale all the way up. Plugin scale 0.6, 0, 0, strength 0.3. That's fine, that's fine. So it's really fast. See, it's only like 3 things I need to change now that I've struggled with it. I could change these ones as well, but I think that's kind of just not worth my time, honestly. So it just shrunk a little more than I wanted it to, but that's okay. So I'll increase by this 15% then. Still not quite what I want. It's 25%. So this is a 15% increase, but the biggest issue is the ends here. So if I just make them bigger, there we go. Not bad at all. Instead of doing that, I'll just make this bigger. Sweet, that's actually really fast. All right, now let me solo this and really look at it to make sure this is going to print. It looks really pixelated and stuff because it's a lot of detail on a not very detailed piece, but again, no one's gonna print it so it's that big. Mario says it looks so much better with the texture. Totally. Thank you again, by the way. That was a very, very helpful and, albeit obvious, still helpful observation. All right. Very nice. Let's do another one. This is gonna come together very quickly now that I'm able to do things. All right, so I knew I had issues with a lot of it. Let's just inflate it a bunch, and then I'm gonna increase it by 15%. Back to solo. surface. Where is it? Surface, noise. Here we are. Noise plug. Dense. Okay. There's a little bit of it's, oh, where is it? It's kind of caving in itself there, which doesn't look too nice. That's okay. We'll see what it does to the mesh and I'll deal with it then. Yeah, plugin scale, I think it was 0.6. That looks better. And that should be all of it, but okay. Apply to mesh. Kind of thinned a little too much. But I can just inflate here, and that will counteract it really nicely. Sir Rex says, I keep hearing inflate and imagining someone blowing into a tentacle. Gross thoughts ensue. Bleh. Austin, I noticed there was a copy and paste button in the noise settings. You guys are the best. I'm gonna look at that. Okay. Another tentacle done. Let me go ahead and position that using the move brush and the move tool. I think it's so important that on these live streams, I don't just do stuff that I've done 100 times and that I know how to do, because otherwise I would never be learning anything new. I think it can be helpful to watch someone else struggle, for lack of a better word. There we go. Got a cool dude I got on here. So Rick, this is the true reason for public live streams, right? You guys are super helpful. All right, let's go to another one of these. I'll get it all bulked up and then I'll look at that copy thing that you mentioned. Yeah, problem solving. I mean, I have a degree in engineering. You think I would be the one doing that, but no. That's okay. I feel like I mentioned that way too often. I can't help it. School was like traumatic and awful, and I don't use that degree, and I'm bitter about it. Not really. I learned a bunch, honestly, that helped me with what I do now. Okay. Bird has complaints that he's not being let out still. That's too bad. Okay. Made this one probably a little too bulky, but that's okay. Alright, now let's see about that copy button and see if I can figure it out. Probably. Alright, noise. Yeah, it says copy right here. But of course I can't. I'm making that face just because like usually hold control over it and it'll tell you. So I'm going to do all the settings I normally do, click copy, and then hopefully next time I hit paste, it will do something that I want. Let's see if it's even available to hit paste. Yeah, it is. So let's try this out. Just gonna frame this, noise plug, dense. Is there any way to save here? No. Okay, that's maxed. 0.6. Strength 0.3. Just doing that again. Is there anything else to change? No, there's not. Cool. Awesome. Let's go to the old one, use copy, new one, use paste. Yeah, that's exactly what I plan to do. Let's see. So that should be everything. So now this should be copied, so I should be able to use that for next time. Okay. Okay. Apply to mesh. Nice. It's just too big overall, but that's absolutely fine because I can shrink this nicely. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Or redo the numbers since you have them. That's true, but I like your idea a lot better, especially if it works. That would be fantastic. Hello.
Hello.
What are you working on?
Logos and graphics, fun stuff.
Woo. Are you having fun with Bird yelling at you, or are you in the bedroom?
I've been in the bedroom. He started squeaking, so I went in there and just kind of tended to him for a little bit.
I'm sure he loved that.
Yeah.
It's not too bad in the live stream, so if you want to just let him yell, that's okay. I appreciate it though. I don't want him to train us though. I'm like, every time I yell, you come to me. It's like, no. All right. I'm having a harder time getting this shape the way I want to. Because I'm thinking just putting one support right here and then another one right here. So it'll only be 2 on this one, which isn't bad. And you make sure that the connections to the monster are pretty thick. I don't want this to be too fragile. Go ahead and save this because it's been a while. Feeling risky. All right. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if that paste works. Paste. And it does. You're a genius. Oh my God, you're my new favorite person. I mean, it was super obvious, but thank you for reading what's on the screen. Oh, I'm so happy about this. Okay. That's it. Okay. Woo! Bruno asked, what engineering degree did you take? Mechanical engineering. So I did a little bit of everything. Took civil, electrical classes, obviously mechanical, but mechanicals were weird because we do a little bit of everything. We mostly make fun of civil engineers, but not electrical. Electricals have to deal with programming, and so did I, in circuits, and no one thinks that's fun, unless they're electrical engineers, and they think it's fun, sometimes. If you had to ask me, I think electrical engineering is the hardest one. Not harder in a different way, I guess. For me, it would have been the hardest one. It's kind of known that civil is the easiest. Because civil has to deal with statics. You don't have to worry with dynamics. So statics being observing motion and forces when something's not moving. And then obviously dynamics being when it is moving. One of the hardest classes I ever took was vibrations for obvious reasons. Like, oh, you're only dealing with vibrations for a whole semester. How bad could it be? Terrible. That's how bad. It's funny because you only have to deal with a few equations of motion, honestly. Like, it looks really simple on the surface, but it's not. A lot of people failed that class. Almost as many. No, I'm just kidding. Way more failed my numerical analysis class, which sounds like number analysis. How bad can it be? Terrible. It was so painful. So much coding in MATLAB. I probably answered that question more than you wanted, but that's what you got. All right. Also, if you say you're a civil engineer, I'm sorry if I was rude. Civils are still cool. We're just, I don't know, mechanicals in my college were mean to them because it was fun to be mean to each other. More like because we were all suffering and taking so many classes that it was cool. Really coming together. Bruno says, I'm a programmer, started to take it, but I dropped out after 1 year of working on it. Have classes of things I already knew at night. Yeah. Programming is a whole different beast, and I applaud you if you can do it, or especially if you enjoy it. 'Cause I wasn't able to do either. Didn't enjoy it at all. All right, this is coming together really quickly now, which is great. My dad's a fantastic programmer, so I definitely it's not that I wasn't able to do it for lack of resources. I just didn't think it was fun. It is cool though, it's just learning a different language and designing your own solutions to it. It's super freaking cool. I always thought what was really cool is when we have a fantastic programmer, they can look at something like someone else's code and they can like condense it. Like say if it's like 1,000 lines of code, they can condense it to like 100 lines of code, and it does the exact same thing. Great programmers are the coolest. It's all about efficiency. Bruno says he loves it. That's awesome. Because it's super important that people do that. This is so much faster and cooler than texturing them by hand. Also, I've noticed a lot of people in ZBrush, like, they're great modelers, but they're like painfully inefficient. Austin says, absolutely disgusting, by the way. Thank you. Now, I know a lot of people that use ZBrush, they're great artists, but they don't use the program for what it can do. And then my favorite is when you have like ZBrush snobs where they're like, well, I sculpted it by hand. I'm like, that's adorable, but how about you just set an array mesh? Like you could make one brick, for example, make an array mesh, and then tell it to tile a house. You don't need to set each brick by hand. It's just painfully inefficient. I don't know. To me, the artistry isn't the process, it's the end product. I'm not worried about it being as difficult and as inefficient as possible. That doesn't make it good, in my opinion. Because when you look at something, you don't know how it was made. You just know what the end product is. That's always what I'm most focused on. That being said, I have huge respect for like traditional sculptors and woodworkers. I think it's so cool. But if you're using ZBrush, like digital products, like make it work for you, you know? So Rex says, wow, it all sounds so handy. Yeah, I think so. I think it's funny I chose that example with the brick house because I haven't learned Z Modeler. So I'm a huge hypocrite saying that I don't know how to do what I just said. I mean, the brick example I do, but not well. It would take some struggling. If you're watching and you do know a bit of ZBrush, you would make one brick a subtool, and then you go into setting from your array mesh. I think it's down here somewhere. Yeah, it's by initialized. Anyway, and use the transpose line to specify how many you want and in what order and all that good stuff. But I don't make a whole lot of houses. Imagine that. I am so happy with this copy paste thing. This is like making my whole day. All right, that definitely got a little too small. Let's inflate it. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Mask by noise. Oh, that could be super cool if I did want to sculpt stuff more by hand. Anyway, not what I'm doing though. Ah, that's cool though. Anyway. That looks better. All right. Looks like this guy's about done. This one tentacle is significantly smaller than the other ones though. So let's increase the size by another 5%. There we go. That's better. House mimic. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I hear what you're saying. I should totally make that. Did you guys see that post on Reddit? Or that's where I saw it, where like they mentioned like, oh, like the DMs, like you're approaching a warehouse, but since they're playing D&D, one of the players was so into it that they're thinking like warehouse, like a werewolf, a warehouse. And so when he mentioned DM was like, oh, well now it is. It started writing stats for it right then and there. I'm like, that's so awesome. I'm on Reddit way too much. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, by the way. This is cool. Yeah, I streamed at a weird time. It's before anyone's off work, usually. So I was like, it'll be me and myself. But it's not, so that's cool. It's fun hanging out. All right, got a few more details here. These ones being sculpted more by hand. So Rex said, Reddit is how I found you. Oh, cool. I think it's where a lot of people find me. Even though I try not to post as much as I used to. I just think it's kind of taboo. I like when new artists share their work on there, but I get real tired of people being like constantly pushing their own work, which I also do to an extent, but I do my best to do it in earnest, not being like, hey, give me $1 kind of thing. Austin says, I love the old story of the mimic room. They're all worried about the chest in the middle, but then the room eats them while they enter. God, that's so annoying and awesome. I'd be so mad. I can just see that play out in my head. This is really gross. The only thing I don't like about doing this themed release with Underdark is that I'm used to modeling a lot of pretty things and usually like a lot of women. I don't do that. But to people who are watching the stream, if you guys want some insider information, I do have a Kickstarter releasing next month. I haven't told anyone about it, but it's going to be like 50 models, only women. And they do a lot of monsters too. There's going to be female minotaurs, loxodons, gnomes. I'm not doing humans or elves because they're so common. I'm doing everything that's not super common. So half-orcs, furbolgs, gnomes, halflings. And then the monsters like the Erenis, Agini. What else? That's enough. But yeah, it's going to be awesome and I'm super excited for it. And I say inside information, obviously you tell people I'm not concerned about it, but there's nothing to link them to because it doesn't exist yet. Oh, and dwarves, female dwarves. And no, they do not have beards. One of them has a mohawk though. She's going to be awesome. So I think Arson Guild is doing something called Amazon, just heads up, but I'm all for it. They already released that. The Amazon's one, that was, oh, they might do another one. That was in December. And then I think it releases in March. Like that's when they deliver the rest of it though. Yeah, Mario says it's already released. Yeah, that was done and funded by early December. I don't remember, but it was cool. Rich says, I'm playing a Furbog Druid right now. I'm cool. I love Furbogs, they're so cool. And yeah, but I like the heads up. I don't mind, like if people are doing the same or similar Kickstarter the exact same month as me, that's totally fine. Because I do it for different purposes. I do Kickstarter so that I can get funded to release stuff for free. And I feel bad. I haven't got any messages yet, but I feel like people that buy my Kickstarter don't realize, like, I say it everywhere, but I'm gonna release them for free in like 2 to 3 months. So you can wait and get it for free. You wouldn't get pre-supported STLs or the different base versions, but you get the model still. So Rex says, oop, my bad. No worry. No worry at all. Yeah, Artisans Guild, who models that? Francesca? Oh, her stuff is so cool. I love it. I know a lot of people were being bitchy about, oh, it's too sexualized. And I'm like, it can be. It depends what your tastes are. If you don't like it, don't look at it. That's kind of how I am. Trust me, I do see stuff that's over-sexualized and it's obnoxious and gets on my nerves. The female Kickstarter I'm doing is all like heavy armor for the most part. Except for like, I do some monks. I'm doing an Aarakocra monk. So she has like light cloth armor, but no boobs, no bird boobs. I'm so sick of people putting boobs on anything that is female, like lizard folk. They're not mammals. It just doesn't make any sense. You can give them a breastplate to get the idea across, or like a skirt, or whatever you want to do. But yeah, let's stop giving lizards boobs. Sir Rock says this rope was over-sexualized. You know it. And then Mario 3P says, yeah, I do like the pinups. Yeah, right? I think it's fun. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I remember Francesca made the, I don't know what it's called, but it was like a woman, tribal, obviously Amazon, and she was on like a panther of some sort. And it's awesome. It's so cool. My favorite thing is like, it's not realistic. I'm like, yeah, in the same world where there's dragons and magic, it's like, put a pin in it. Like, whatever. I think people just like to complain. What annoys me the most is when it's like men trying to defend women, like, oh, this is hurting women. I'm like, we're fine. We got it. Thank you. I like what you're trying to do, but you don't need a white horse for me. I'm good. Let's say this again. I'm looking at the teeth because the bottom teeth will print themselves. It'll be easy, but I'm a little worried about the top ones. So I want to make sure that they're thick. Something that I do to make this a little bit easier is I make them thicker on the back where you can't see. So they look good from the front, but actually like the teeth extend back into the head. Austin said, if there were animal folk in modern times, would they get implants to fit in? I don't know. I don't know. That's a cursed question. That's a great question. And I hate it. I'm gonna go with no. I'm just gonna say no to that. How's that? Damn, you guys are funny. I'm gonna tell Ricky that once he walks back in the room. If you guys don't know, Ricky is a huge part of M3DM, even though his name doesn't get a letter. There's no MR3DM or whatever. Does a lot of the 3D printing, which, because I used to do all of it and I taught him how to do it, so now I can focus more on modeling. But he's awesome. We've been together for more than 5 years. Yes, more than 5 years. And now we're not getting married. Everyone else, so go and having babies. Don't want babies, don't want to get married. Just not for me. Much to my family's chagrin. Ricky's sister recently got married, and so his parents were like looking to us like, okay, it's your turn. And we're like, no thanks. All right, so that's what I meant. Like, it looks dumb, I know, when you look at it like from underneath, but it prints so much easier because there's just like a, I don't know, it fails less, I've noticed in my experience. Saruk, is it easier to make characters with an underbite? Kind of. If I could lay, like, say if his mouth was closed, yes. Like, for instance, actually, I'm done with the roper, so I'm gonna pull up the aboleth, one, because I'm super proud of it, and two, because I gave him an underbite with teeth. So I get the teeth look across without having to worry about top teeth. Marty 3 Piece is more mass. Yes, that's the word. So I don't understand marriage all that great. Not for me. Yeah, same. I have no problem with like exclusive relationships. Mine is not open. Mine is exclusive. There's no other people involved. But I don't know, just having like written documentation for it. And then if we do split up, we have to give each other half of each other's like retirement because we're in the United States and it's a huge issue. And I'm like, I wouldn't mind it if it had nothing to do with money, you know? But that gets involved and I'm like, ooh, yeah, people change. I'm 23. I'm not gonna be the same person in my 50s, you know? And he's not either, which is great, but that's a big assumption to assume that we're still gonna work, you know? I don't know, probably. I'd like to. We'll see. So yeah, this is the underbite with teeth. So I kind of like the poly lifestyle. Yeah, whatever works, man. It's not for me. I am way too much of a jealous psycho for that. Or I would be. Let's see. I don't super like the detail work right here, but it doesn't matter. Like I want to make it even more detail right there, but I know it doesn't matter and it's not worth the time. But yeah, this is the aboleth. I'm super excited for it. It's going to be huge. And then essentially all I'm going to do is I'm going to append a cylinder. And he's going to have a little spike. And that's what's going to connect him to the base. More or less like this. I'm actually going to put it more towards the center. That way it's more hidden. That's what's going to look like. Sarek said, I guess marriage makes sense if you're trying to lend insurance and whatnot to your partner. Healthcare reasons. That's the only reason I've considered it. And it says, oh wow, this looks great. Thank you. I'm very happy with it. I'm like about to hiccup. Excuse me. It looks like it's really swimming when you rotate it. Yeah, I think so too. I'm really happy with it. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh wow, it's glitching. I was gonna just like, whatever. That was a disaster. I was gonna move it around the screen. But yeah, I'm super happy with it. I know that the tentacles are not gonna be the most fun thing to print. I decided to not even worry about it and just really focus on the design aspect. When I realized something was going to be a harder 3D print, I have two options. Sacrifice some design to make more 3D printable, or just lean into it and make it beautiful, and then like, or ugly beautiful for this one. So if you do print it, it's really worth it. So I went more on that route. Austin says, this thing is in the my endgame's current dungeon is a super mutate aboleth. Don't tell my players. Oh, that's cool. It's been living in an ancient nuclear reactor. That's so cool. That's awesome. For this one, I was kind of thinking, because I can cut the model like right here and then print the tail like this, and it'll be completely supportless. So that's cool. And then the rest of it, whatever, it bites. It's gonna be a lot. I mean, I could cut these and have the fins off and also print this all supportless. Because I plan to print this really big. So if I do key this up, which I will, it's not gonna be too bad to print, actually. Let me go ahead and save this. And I'll bring this into mesh to make sure to pose it, actually, just in case you're wondering. So it also has a really cool direction for the design. Thank you. Do I have my reference? No, I don't have a reference in there. It looks different than what the normal obelisk does, which again, 2 reasons. 1, copyright, but really I just don't like rendering. So I change it as much as I can just to have fun with it and not be considered a derivative work, because I don't know if you guys know this, but if you make something based on something, you still don't have the copyright to it. Like if I make Mickey Mouse, but with, I don't know, 3 ears instead of 2. It's still Mickey Mouse though, it's not yours. Copyright is confusing. But let's be real. If I make this and if Wizards of the Coast is like, hey, it's too similar, take it down, I'll be like, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna fight with that at all. It's like when a big company has, it's bigger and more money, I'm not fighting that fight because I'm not gonna win. Even if I am in the right, you know? Mark 3 Priest, I love the extra detail. Thank you. I do think it's fun. The weaving here, I don't know if you guys are familiar. It's a game called, I'm gonna pull it up so you guys can see it. It's called Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's where I got the inspiration for that. I'm a huge gamer, in case you guys didn't know. I'm gonna try and get a close up on one of the monsters. They're mechanical, so a strider would show it really well, or it should. Where is it? Here we go. This is a screenshot from the game. So see how this is all like roped together and stuff? I think it looks so cool, and obviously because it's mechanical, that's incorporated into a lot of the designs for Horizon Zero Dawn. And even though it doesn't fit at all for an aboleth, it looks like tentacles, and I thought it was cool. So I took that inspiration, and that's why this has that similar pattern. It's not executed really well, like, if I'm being totally honest, but I tried, and then I got lazy. Mari says, beautiful game, right? Ah, it's such a good game. I'm playing Monster Hunter all the time right now again, and it's the best. I played it in college, but not a lot because I felt guilty because I didn't have time really. Ooh, I can mark off my roper because I finished that too. Yay, I'm getting a lot of stuff done today. I might be able to release this early. Oh, I scratched off the wrong one. I have not started the deep gnomes yet. The deep gnomes are gonna look pretty similar, and it's not because I'm lazy, it's because this is designed after an encounter. And I was kind of thinking the deep gnomes would be 2 brothers you came across, and you could like try and convince them to help you with all of these horrible monsters around or get more information. So I want them to look related. So they're not like 2 different gnomes you come across, they're a pair. Because I feel like it's so dangerous in Underdark, you should like buddy system, you know? But yeah, they'll both have mining gear on them. It's kind of what I'm planning. Pickaxe, that kind of stuff. Dynamite, maybe. I don't know what else I'd have. If you guys have ideas, let me know. Let's see. So I finished the roper. What else did I do? I made a cave entrance, and then I fought with that cloaker for way too long. I started live streaming at 1:30, so now it's 2 hours. That's not too bad. I mean, I'm not being super efficient, but still cool. Doing something. A lot of this is me just making it proper proportions in a mesh mixer, which again, you can scale these to any size you want, but it's always nice when it's already scaled correctly in the slicer, and that's what I try to do for you guys. All right. I'm gonna make a folder for the deep gnomes. All right, so Rex saying you doing 1 male, 1 female. I plan on doing them both males, like as brothers, but I mean, I could do 1 male, 1 female. I don't think I will though, because I'm already modeling so many females from female Kickstarter, so like I don't want to get burned out on modeling women. Mark for TNT in a cave, make 1 smile like a psycho. I didn't say it was smart. You're doing some folder organization here. Oops, that's wrong. Stork says that's fair. Makes sense. Cave entrance, yeah, 1 and 2. So I nest things in double folders like this, like the deep gnomes, I have 1 and then I have 2. The reason for that is not to have excessive folders. It's because if I accidentally save over a ZBrush file, it is gone forever. I can go my quick saves if I'm lucky, but it's gone forever. Cave entrances, I don't have separate folders because it was so fast to make, it wouldn't be that painful if I lost it, and it is still pretty unlikely that I would save over it like a doof. I'm usually pretty good about that. I've only ever done that once, and it was terrible, but only once. Awesome. Just add eyelashes. I mean, you're not wrong to an extent, but no. Like I say, it was funny, like modeling the Aarakocras. Like, I'm like, how do I make a bird feminine? It was actually easier than I thought. It's a more slender head shape, more slender overall, but still pretty well muscled because, I don't know, Aarakocras fly, obviously, because they're eagle folk, so I wanted them to be pretty lithe, but well muscled still. But it was fun. I gave her like a top as if she has breasts, but it's just not filled out at all, but it gets the point across, which I guess sounds hypocritical, but it looks cool. It's a good design, but I'm not gonna show you guys because it's top secret. Austin said, or a bow. That'd be cute. First I thought like a long bow or something, but no, I know what you mean now, like a literal bow. Is that all women are? Feminine bows? No, I'm just kidding. And eyelashes. I get what you mean, and that would totally work and be super cute. All right, am I missing anything? Aboleth, Cloaker, Cave Entrance. I want this alphabetical so it matches. Oh, it is alphabetical. My whiteboard is not alphabetical, that's why. Surak, do you prefer referencing real life nature or fantasy cliches? Depends. It just depends. Marty 3P, birds are easier to color as a gender. A lot of male birds are brighter colors. Very true. Surak for designing gender and creatures. Yeah, again, like I do follow probably nature more so rather than cliches. And the reason I don't follow cliches more because I don't even know them because I haven't played that much D&D. Surak says, I'm an anti-fan of boob armor. That's fair, but I have no problem with like breastplates and stuff, especially because with the Aarakocra that I mentioned, it's cloth. Everything is cloth. It's not really armor. It's just like loose clothes. I have a problem with it when it's a breastplate that like circles each boob because that does not happen. That'd be really hard to make out of metal, making like hemispheres like that are tapered. You'd have a breastplate that would have no definition. That would make more sense. But at the same time, like whatever, if it looks good, it looks good. I do the same thing. Speaking of, I have if I can find it conveniently, I have a female fighter that has a breastplate that's shaped because it can totally be done. Nah, I'm not gonna find it. That's too much work. I think I'm gonna take a break. Now it's at 2 hours. Still a super fun live stream. Deep Gnomes is all I have left. So yeah, that might be a different live stream, or you guys will see the detail work as I add more stuff to that towards the end. Sorek said, I heard you say something about stop giving lizard's breast, and I was like, yes, right? Again, I don't mind feminine armor. It's fine, but giving like literal like just fat distributions that would never happen. I've done it once, though. I do have a female dragon form that does have breasts. I completely forgot. Literally, she wasn't even supposed to be a dragon, and then, like, she was. I'm ashamed, but whatever. So, just like you know, I break my own rules all the time, mostly because I forget. But no, dragonborn should not have breasts because they're lizards. All right, I'm going to do a quick render on this just because this is the last thing on the screen. It's been cool. I'd just like to finish this off. Bruno says, thanks for hanging out. Hangout time is very cool. Yeah, I'm glad you guys think so. I love doing these public streams on Monday because I see new people I don't usually. If you do want to see me every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday for the classes, $10 tier. Because, you know, this is what I do for a living. I like hanging out with you guys for free, though, too. It's pretty fun. But yeah, here is the Aboleth. Thank you guys so much for all your helpful tips. It was super awesome. I'm sounding like a YouTuber now. Getting that tone of voice. I'm not digging it. Anyway, you guys are great. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.